Z-noise.
You know what I'm saying?
What you know about Z-noise, cuz?
Ooh, yeah, it's a little static shock.
Super static shock?
Yeah, it's a little. Hold on, guys.
Hold up.
Yep.
The only thing we can do is
Move it up.
Yep. But this all we working with. Hold on.
It's a little.
Oh yeah, that's super noise.
Yeah.
So we could either move it up, or we can just do super long distance with just just this and have a super long distance.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
Can they still hear us?
They said, "What's up, Buzz Lightyear?" Hold on. You. How's that? Let us know. Is this better? I think it's better.
That's crazy. We
Was that better?
So hold on. I'm talking in regular voice. See where the levels at on that joint, cause I know we far as a mug right now.
Oh, I don't see. I see barely nothing when you.
Nothing.
No, now it's picking up.
Yeah, we gotta turn it up. Can you turn up the gain? Now we probably gonna get a lot of room noise.
How's that sound? You're skirt. All right, we back. We can pin this drink.
Yeah. We might have to change it halfway through. Somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, can't hear you guys."
This broadcast is brought to you by
James.
Son.
Yeah, we got a lot of room noise. Hold on. Hey, how we sounding, y'all? Like,
Podcast should be long today. Technical difficulties.
facts.
All right.
Facts. How we sounding? If we sounding good, give me a 111. Sound good over here.
All right. Let me pull up some Jameson. We got special guests in the house tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Super special guest. Hold on.
Elon Musk's cousin.
All right.
Let's start.
You give my man a special introduction. This is my little bro. He ain't that little, but I call him my little bro. He's been the man in the game for about 36 years. He's probably not even 36 years old. Worked with everybody. No ID. The game. The game again. We're going to get into that in a hot second. Everybody, he's a personal best friend to Ludacris. No, man, everybody give it up, man, for my brother Tech Beats, man. Give it up for Tech Beats. You always see him on your side of the podcast. He is actually here in Atlanta, right here in the studio. And just to let you know, we're going to get into who Tech Beats is and all that good stuff. But this is family, so it's kind of like when DJ MacGyver's here. Like, we don't really interview DJ MacGyver. So we're not going to interview Tech Beats per se, because he family. He just in a mix. You know what I mean?
I'm here, man. I had to come see my fam, man. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
I'm gonna give you some air horns. I had to reset real quick. You know what I mean?
You ain't know what the buttons were?
Nah, I had to unplug and plug it back in.
Facts, man. So all right, before we get into it, man, see who's in the building. H2O Ab is in the building. We see you, bro. Quintendo Power is in the building. We see you. Pixel One is in the building. Man? Yes, sir. And as we always do,
Andrew Hypes, VA representative. What up, bro?
Oh, shout out to Andrew, man. Shout out to Winslow Raps. As we always do, man, if you did anything great this week, anything that you're particularly proud of, that you want to tell everybody about, let us know. We'll spam them hearts for you, all that good stuff.
Hey.
And in the meantime, while you're getting your accolades together, I guess we could go ahead and play that theme song by Young Chambers.
Hey.
You are now watching the UnQuantized podcast. Tonight,
You the whoa?
live on Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, indeed. Oh, Smoking Aces has an announcement. He said Smoking Aces is in the building.
I like that announcement. It's a good announcement.
Smoking Aces, what's good?
Yes, sir.
It's a good announcement.
All
Jack,
right.
man, how was your week, man? What you been working on, bro?
Man, my week has been amazing, man. I had to just come in town to see my family for the holidays, right quick, you know. But other than that, man, this week has been pretty good. We've been traveling. Went out to Louisiana with my girlfriend, seeing her family. We just kind of made it a whole, you know, field trip, and then now we here.
Nice.
So, yeah. And since I've been here, I just been eating good and chilling out.
Yo, my man told me he had pumpkin pancakes this morning.
Oh yeah, shout out to my mom. You know what I'm saying? She came through with the pumpkin pancakes this morning, man.
Mom.
With extra butter on them, amazing.
That's gonna sound fire.
Yeah. After this podcast, I don't know what the hell y'all doing. I'm going to get some pumpkin pancakes. It may not be at his mama's house, but I'm gonna go somewhere and get me some pumpkin pancakes.
Find you some pumpkin pancakes, not pumpkin spice. Now,
Ooh, it's a difference.
It's
It's
different.
levels. It's levels to it.
Right.
levels.
But like my dog said, uncut pumpkin. This is
You know what I'm
100%.
Somebody said waffles.
On deck.
That's a fact, man. So listen. So you live in LA now,
Yeah.
but you're originally from here.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you take that trip, man?
Man, it was just kind of like, you know, I was at a point where I was like working jobs, you know what I'm saying? That was like kind of like towards the stuff I was doing with Saha. You know what I'm saying? We was down here working on those projects, but I just kind of had felt like it was time for me to like, it's like one of those now and never situations. Like you have to take your life into your hands at some point and be like, okay, I got to go take a chance out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and it's kind of not to sound cliche, but he has kind of been like a mentor towards me. You know what I'm saying? The whole time since I met him in college, just no ID. We had a conversation, and he was just like, man, you know, we should come out here and try to, you know what I'm saying, see what you can do out here in LA, move around, meet some new people, build some connects, build your business up. So I took that advice and I moved to LA.
Damn. And that's what, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
So almost been 4 years now.
Yeah,
So it's like kind of like at the end of 2015.
Damn, yeah,
So yeah, I got the hell on up out of here, man, and went out there and went for it.
damn, it's been a long time, man.
Yeah.
So I was gonna get into how I met you and all that good stuff, but I think we should do it the other way around because believe it or not, Trizza and you knew each other before I knew either one of y'all.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
Trizza, how did you meet?
So I always talk about how I met like most of the people that I know in the music industry from college. Me and him went to school together.
Exactly.
And at the time you were rapping.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was DJing and I was trying to like get beats, you know, pass CDs off. So I feel like that's how we originally met. It's just me trying to pass beats off, and I was working at DTP too.
Exactly. You was over there with
So,
PK them.
yep. So
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of crossed paths around there. And it's a picture on my MySpace. I'm trying to find it. Of me and him. I was in there flexing. I had the do-rag on, bro. It was bad. It was all bad. Don't judge me on the time period, you know, my dress. But, you know, he was making moves back then. Rapping wise, y'all was working. Y'all was making
It's
hella
been a
moves.
little vision ever since forever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man,
It's
that's
dope.
what we linked at first.
It's dope seeing you go from like progression. You was rapping to then I remember hearing you was making beats, and then to see where you going with that.
Well, the crazy part about it was always making beats.
Oh,
You know
really?
what I'm saying? Juice was the one that kind of like inspired me to kind of like, hey man, you should rap too. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like I was one of the producers of the group. Juice produced too. He made beats too, and he was just more the lyricist of us too. So you know he kicked it off, and I was just right there too. Like, hey man, write me a verse too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It
really?
started as really like I would write down my ideas, and he would write my verses for me, and we'll finish them like together. So you know what I'm saying? Can never go that route without shouting out my homeboy Juice, because he was kind of like a driving force, and you know what I'm saying, me even being like, okay, I'm a rap. You know what I'm saying? I was already rapping before I got to Clark, Atlanta, but you know what I'm saying, he kind of like inspired me to take it more serious
Right.
too. So you know,
Oh, that's dope.
Damn.
So-
Y'all still cool?
yeah, I still talk to Juice like every other day. That's like
that's
my
right.
brother.
Man, shout out to Juice. So, fast forward, I met you, Music House. Music House Studios.
Yep.
I was working with Polo.
Lolo. Yeah.
Yep. I came through to do some sound design stuff. Polo wasn't even in the studio. He
wasn't even there yet.
nah,
I
he
think
was somewhere. Yeah, he was somewhere. And I remember I was in the studio and I seen you. You was on the other side of the studio, and
I think I was over there. Might have been over there with Attitude.
nah, two wasn't there.
Two wasn't there
Nah,
yet.
two wasn't there.
Okay.
But I remember you was like, you asked me something about Ableton.
Yeah.
That's all you can hear right there.
Yeah.
So
That's probably where it started. That's exactly that sounds about right. To me.
Yep, you asked me, you said something about Ableton. And you were, I don't know if you were new to Ableton at the time, but
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I was. I was kind of like dibbling and dabbling in Ableton at that point.
and the weird thing about it is, like I'm a Ableton guru. Tech is on the same wavelength. He's on the same level of being an Ableton guru. So it's funny that when I met you at that point, you was like new to Ableton, because at that time I was like super Ableton already.
You was already in. I was just kind of like, I see this software. What is this dope? But I don't know what it is yet. But I like it.
Man,
But I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah,
But I
that's
like
a fact. I remember because you asked me, and then you had hit me. I was moving around, and I remember I was in Miami with Tim. And one day I finally got some time at the hotel, and I hit you up, and you asked me some questions about Ableton. I was like, "Oh, this dude gonna be all right." Like, you know, how some people ask like certain questions. I was like, oh, "Okay." So fast forward through that, Tech ends up working with Ableton.
Yeah.
And he is actually the person that plugged me into Ableton, because you told Houston about me.
To come see.
Oh,
I was like, man, when I met Houston, yeah, and then it's crazy how even all of that happened, because that just happened from being at Guitar Center kicking it.
Really?
Yeah. Like I like, it was just so crazy how that happened, because it was like, you know, I think I was coming to Atlanta to meet up with Attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Attitude had to push the studio time back. So I was like, okay, cool. I had drove from Gainesville, from down to the A, and we ended up having to push the studio time back. So I just went to Guitar Center to kick it. You know how we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go to Guitar Center, look on the wall, see what plugins you already got. Go in there, play on keyboards you ain't about to buy.
you ain't buy the door.
Right.
And it was like, yo, we finna have an Ableton clinic, and I just hung around for that. Ended up meeting Houston. You know what I'm saying? Went to that clinic. That's how that started. And then, yeah, that's how I ended up getting cool with Ableton. I met Houston, who was at the time the Southeast rep for Ableton. So,
Shout out to Houston, too.
That's a fact. So
shout
anytime
out to
you see
Houston.
definitely, and Houston's been on our show.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way that Houston was even on our show, and the way that I know Houston and I'm in with Ableton, is because Tech
Exactly.
plugged me in. He told Houston about me. Here's what's funny. He told Houston about me, came to the crib with Houston, did my thing. Then shortly after, either you or Houston told Cole about me.
I told Cole, and then we both, actually both me and Houston told Cole. I just had to put the sword to the, you know what I'm saying, to the metal, because I'm like, hey man, y'all niggas need to know who this guy is.
My man.
You know what I'm saying? This guy is Ableton, like, you know what I'm saying? This guy know things about Ableton that y'all don't even know. So it's like, yeah.
My man. So Cole is the artist relations guy with Ableton. So when Tech and Cole came to my crib, it's a video of me and you on the beat, and I'm doing the scratches on the keyboard, and Cole from Ableton sitting right there. And that video was shot by Decap.
Decap. Exactly.
Decap was with Cole.
That's crazy.
And Decap, I didn't know Decap at all.
Shout out to Decap too.
Yeah, shout out to Decap. Yeah, Decap was just some guy that came with Cole to my crib, because Tech invited them, and Decap shot the video of me and Tech.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So shout out to Decap. Yeah.
It's a little full story here.
So all of that to say,
Full circle.
yeah. So all that to say, this is why we always talk so much about networking. Like, just think about that. Like, from a chance meeting in the studio, and then talking, and then he ends up doing something, and then bringing people here, and then networking.
It's also networking, and it's also you have to just be mindful of how you treat people when you meet them at different points in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't never know who's gonna end up being
Exactly.
wherever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily in our example, because we just linked immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like good energy, good vibes immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Never been no bad blood or anything. So you know, it's just just be careful how you treat people on the way to your top, on where you going on your journey.
Yeah, that's crazy because like some people you meet and y'all do music together, but you actually became like my mans. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is like family.
Like best friend type shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not a lot of people know stuff about me and all that, but it's been times like I've been going through some shit like career wise, shit ain't going good. Like Tech, you know what I'm saying? Like boom, me and Tech on the phone rapping about it, and vice versa.
Exactly. It ain't even got to be about no music shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's just conversation. Like this like my bro right here. I hear Black every other day. I done interrupted the show several times.
I answered the phone for Tech when he called during the show. Like
That's real.
yeah, but that's crazy. But yeah, you just never know, and that's a good point about how you got to be mindful of how you treat people.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people are dismissive, or a lot of people want to front and do all that, and there's really no reason to it. You could be missing out on a lot, man. Like
That's facts.
a whole lot. But yeah, man. Hey, good to have you on the show.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad to be
otherwise,
here, man.
that's why I said it's hard. Like we can't really interview Tech because I'm like, that's just like
I'm like honorary member of the show.
that's a fact, man.
Glad to be here.
Man.
What we doing?
So I didn't even ask, how was your week, man?
Exactly, Tristan. What you been doing,
Nah,
nigga?
you
Come
know what
on,
I've been
man.
on, bro. I've been getting ready.
I see, but now I gotta take a minute and just be like, and congratulate both of y'all because y'all been moving with this show, man.
Oh,
Oh,
appreciate
well,
it,
thank
man.
you, brother.
Yeah,
Thank
Man,
you.
this is like a producer hub right here, bro.
That's what's up, man.
I'm proud of y'all too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Honored to be here.
Facts.
I don't know what just happened to my screen.
Well, oh no. Hey, I don't know. I'm still looking kind of
Okay,
crispy
I'm
over
just
here.
making sure we're still good.
Yeah, we still in there. So anyway, yeah, you this week, bro. What you been into?
Getting ready for Black Friday, man. That's it. That's
You got your tent?
I'm getting ready for the
You get ready for the people to camp out.
yeah, I want
exactly.
people to get well.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really all I've been. And Daddy Daycare, bro.
That's
I
it.
cooked up yesterday. Felt good because I hadn't been making beats in a little second. You ever just like, you ain't make beats in a while and then you make one, you like, oh, I still got it. I'm still there. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Man.
one of them.
By the way, Tech has been letting me have it for not cooking up. lately.
Yeah, man, all y'all need to let him have it.
Yeah,
Actually.
Fortunately, ain't no tomato buttons they could
Pause.
Yeah.
Wrong.
There you go. Good one. Yeah, that's a fact.
Y'all tell Sound Oracle to start making beats right now.
Yeah, Tech is my man. Tech used to come through. We would cook up, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I just showed him a picture I found. Me and him working on Saha Black History Project in the
History project,
studio. Oh man, you talking about cooking?
We cooked up.
We was in there cooking,
We
boy.
cooked up.
Yee.
Young Larry O, what up, man?
Larry O in the building. What's going on, brother? Yeah, we get you.
Bro, that's Brandon, man. That dog is a Brandon machine, bro.
That's a fact. Shout out to Larry O. But yeah, damn. So I remember that Saha project. Yeah, we was in there.
That was an amazing project.
Yeah, man. Shout out to that
Shout out to
project. man.
Saha.
We were super cooking up. Speaking of shout out to Oral Soul Beats, who hit me with a list of topics for today's show, and we really want to get into some of those. I promise we're gonna talk about some stuff today. But first we just gotta celebrate the homie being here, man. Yeah, you here for a while too, right?
Yeah, I'll be here for a week. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna get back up out and get to work. I got some stuff I'm working on. The game project coming out the 29th. You know what I'm saying? We got that. Got 4 joints on that.
4 joints on there.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Born to Rap, November 29th. Make sure y'all say that date. Shout out to my homeboy Duke, Wallace Lane, Prince, all the producers involved. Shout out to Game, everybody.
Damn, my man got 4 joints on the upcoming Game album. Definitely check those out. You got the names on them yet, or you always that's like
I just want to, you know.
Okay.
Whoa, man.
okay. All you do is win, no matter what. I get it.
It's coming though. It's gonna be a great project.
Your first-
I'm just excited to be able to have the opportunity to move to LA and work with one of the West Coast's biggest artists.
Yeah.
Man, it's an accomplishment for me. You
That's
know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying?
No, that's a super fact. Yo, first of all, I'm gonna give you a little glimpse into the pedigree or the type of guy that Tech Beats is. You ever seen the type of dude that's doing a lot of stuff? Like he on the court, he got the 360 dunk, he got the crossover and all that stuff, and you're like, yo, what you doing out there? And what he hit you with? I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm out here. Tech is always not doing nothing but doing everything
All
at
the
the same
stuff.
time.
Chilling,
Yeah.
man. I'm chilling.
Yeah,
I'm chilling.
Just to let you know.
He over there working on Ableton 15. He got to push 12.
Hold
We
on.
ain't even seeing it.
Yeah, that's a fact. My man, laptop over there having twins.
Okay.
His laptop giving birth to things over there.
You seen the little Instagram dance where the people got the little tech built in their arms?
I ain't seen that.
Oh,
Yep, there you go.
You the
That's
first
him.
person. Don't act like we know you started it.
So, all right, man. So, we was talking about shout out to No ID. We was talking about how you work with No ID. We talking about how I met you and I was working with Polo and all that good stuff. So that leads me into one of the first questions. How important is it, do you think, for newer producers to know producer history?
I think it's very important. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when you might meet these people. You know what I'm saying? These people are in the lane of profession that you're in. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes these stories that other producers may have that, you know, maybe our OGs or, you know, above us, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that we're below or above anybody, but just to pave the way for us to be where we are now. It's good to know that history because some of that history you can learn from some of their history and some of their mistakes and some of their triumphs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you should know, and especially if you end up working with these people, you should definitely know. It's like you can't, it's like I can't come work with, I can't come work with Sound Oracle if I don't know who Sound Oracle is. You know what I'm saying? I can't work with Trizza if I don't know who Trizza is. I need to know what you're doing, like what's your vibe, you know what I'm saying, where you came from, you know. It's very important that you know that history because some of those steps that these producers made may have paved the way for where you at now. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. That's what you call a poignant point right there.
I just believe you should do your research on everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You know,
you never
need to know who people are.
Yeah.
You never know who you in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be the biggest advantage. When you know who certain people are and other people don't, and you
Right.
know how to approach and network with them in that situation, oh, that's a big advantage.
Right. I mean, I think that's, you're right. You're right.
I think it's kind of crazy. We're in one of the only fields or ecosystems where this is even like a debatable thing.
Right.
If you were into politics or something like that, you would know who the senators were that came before you or something like that. But I guess it kind of comes with, it's a bit of an arrogance about our hip hop genre.
Community.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy though. You're like, man, I don't need to know who such and such is.
You do.
Yeah, you definitely do. But outside of it being just blatant ignorance due to ageism for no apparent reason, like a lot of people that came before you are the plugs.
That's super.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just always lateral with who you know, and you are up and coming, chances are you only know up and coming people, and up and coming people get the plugs to the people who are already established, and those are the people that you may be shunning. So I just know your history, and we got a good audience. Most of our people, they know what it is. They know who all these people are. But in case you don't, man, like, just go back. Like when we had Focus on here, and somebody was in my thread trying to school Focus.
Yeah.
On some
Come
real
on,
Focus
man.
shit.
But that goes into etiquette. You know what I'm saying? And respect. You know what I'm saying? Some of those things, it's like a line. Not to say that you don't have the freedom of speech and you're not able to say whatever you would like to say. You say whatever you want to say. And social media and Twitter has all made this thing accessible to where people can voice their opinions and say whatever they want to say. But it's still a certain level of respect that you should have for people that have paved the way for you to even be doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, it all boils down to respect and etiquette at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Damn, that's a good point. And actually, wait, that leads me into, first of all, also, you killing with these topics, bro, because that leads me into another topic that he had. What are some proper studio etiquette habits to have? All right, well, while y'all think about it, I got a great one. Shut up. like initially though. Initially me coming like, see where you are, and it goes back to learning who's in the room.
Right.
'Cause, yeah.
It's okay to be a star. there's nothing wrong with being a star. There's nothing wrong with, you know what I'm saying, being confident in what you're doing. But it's certain times, like I just remember one time when I was in college, I went to the studio, and you know what I'm saying. I was in, not to keep breaking up Dion's name or No ID name, but I just remember it was Legendary Trackster and No ID, and it was me, and I was in there just reckless, like just playing beats out of my laptop, turning my headphones up, reckless, excited,
Right.
excited to just play them something, and it's like, we know you here. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people go into these studios with these people, and you have to just take into account of the energy in the room. You know what I'm saying? If these people have allowed you to come into their space, you have to be considerate of that. You know what I'm saying? Still be your star. Turn your star on when they ask you to turn your star on. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that you got to sit there and be in fear of somebody kicking you out of the studio or telling you. You just got to know how certain etiquette. It's respect. It's respect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if I come to your house and you say, "Hey man, I want you to take your shoes off before you come walk on my carpet," then it's like I'm taking my shoes off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's that just goes down the list of respect and etiquette. Period. It doesn't even got nothing necessarily to do with studio, but especially in studio where people's energies are focused on whatever they may be working on, having a meeting, having a conversation on the phone. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what it may be. You just got to be able to fit into those certain things. Like just wait until you called on.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Perfect.
That's how I feel like it should go.
Perfect. What you got, yo Tris? Because I know you got some.
I mean, mine's is piggybacking off of yours because I got a homie.
Yep.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And he means well, but he's just so eager, right? And I brought him around Oracle. No, he's like 100 miles per hour. Just like, yo,
Star on. He's star on. He's ready.
All the time. And I'm like, bro, like I get it, but like just chill, man. Just like relax. We know you here. We all gonna work together. You don't have to force your way onto this. And I feel like that messes people up of trying to force their way into a situation instead of being cool and then taking advantage of that little window you get and then you kill on that joint.
Right.
Then people be like, oh snap, he bought it. He can come to, because people look at it. Can I chill with this person? Can I bring other people around? And that's why people will hit me up about like, yo, can I come to the studio? And I be weird because I don't know how they gonna act.
Right.
Like if I got an artist here, I don't know how you gonna act with this artist. I don't want you acting like a groupie or weird when this artist is here. And so I'm skeptical about bringing certain people until I know how you're gonna react.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of that's based too on how people act with you.
Period.
They don't realize that they act weird with you. So then it's like, all right, well, it's time to go to the studio. You're like, I don't know about this.
Right, exactly.
Man,
Like I said, it's okay to be excited. It's okay to be a star. It's okay to turn your star on, but you just gotta know, like, man, like this is unfamiliar territory. I just don't be understanding what people don't have. Some people don't have their filter. That's when I don't understand. Like, how you don't know that you in somebody else's space. Like, how you don't have the, you know what I'm saying?
Social cues. People don't get social cues. Yeah,
that's real.
And that's really what it is. You know what's crazy? I feel like it's a balance because as much as it's a thing like you should kind of fall back and understand where you are, but at the same time, one of the things that helped me was also act like you belong in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you've been brought there for a reason.
Right. You don't have to look like the obvious freshman in school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like all these are people, all y'all are people, all y'all are musicians. Like you said, you've earned the right to be here one way or another. So act like you deserve to be there. That's one of the biggest things I learned when I first started working with Tim. I always act like I should be there, but I wasn't never like loud and obnoxious. And he always had a thing like if something serious is going on, people had to get out.
Right.
But he'd be like, everybody get out. Now, like, you stay, Chris, you stay. Like, it was like 2 or 3 of us that always stayed.
Right.
And it was because, we cool, not too much,
You
not
fit
too little.
into the energy.
Right, and you probably have a good suggestion about what was said in that room. But yeah, so I'm gonna ask both of y'all, keeping in the topic of studio etiquette. How am I gonna phrase this? How long do you play a beat before you turn it off in the studio? And this is kind of leading into the social cues thing too, because you've been in that situation where you're playing a beat and you're trying to get a read on the room, nobody's saying anything. What's the thing that lets you know, all right, let me turn this off?
I mean, for me, it's the people on their phone. I learned this from
Social cues.
was either I feel like Polo was the first person I heard talk about it, but Diego does it, and he does it well. If someone's on the phone, he won't play the beat. He'll stop. If you're not paying attention to what's going on, he'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's certain stuff that it's like you gotta understand that people attention span is short as hell. It's like, yo, if they don't get it from the first couple minutes, I maybe give them to the hook, and then that's it. I'm out. I'm playing the next joint. You know what I mean? What about you?
I feel the same way. It's really just paying attention to the energy of the room. You know what I'm saying? Like you never want to be put in a situation where you playing your heat while people having conversations and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If you do kind of realize that people are kind of like gravitating or towards something else, their attention is streaming somewhere else, cut it off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then like you said, you know, like I think that, you know, you can see if niggas is nodding their head, if niggas is sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Like you know when it's time. Like me personally, when I play somebody a new record, unless they ask me to keep playing it, I'm going probably for a minute, 30 seconds, if that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna at least get to the verse and the hook, and you know we're gonna go from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna come in here. That's man, bro. I'm glad it's kind of going and just being living in LA. Like you can be in the room with a lot of people that don't know when to stop.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like and I think that's a big thing. Like as far as like when you meeting new people and you're collabing with people and you're working with people, like you don't have to play every single record you have. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. Like it's like I feel like if we collabing on something, us being in the same room and getting to the point where we're in the same room and ready to understand and listen to what each other has to say, is enough. Play a vibe. Let me see what you on. Play you something I'm on, and let's get to working what we on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to sit in here and play our whole playlist,
Bruh.
unless it's a vibe for that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a vibe for that, let's go. Let's play for play. You know what I'm saying? You play one, I'll play one. You play one. We can sit this motherfucker all night, play beats and circles all night. But at some point, it's like, dang, you don't have to play me everything. You know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the worst things ever. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Bro, like, some people will play you all their records.
Bro. And the whole
like, okay, I got another one. Okay, I got another one.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another one. And that goes into etiquette and paying attention to the energy in the room and not being too overbearing.
I was just in the studio with somebody that did that. And after like 40 minutes, I'm like, all right, man.
40 minutes, bro?
Yeah, I gave Bama 40 entire minutes.
That's crazy. Like, I would never sit there and play somebody's head off for 40 minutes.
Slim, I made a meme.
Man.
I made a whole funny meme on my phone.
That's how you know it's bad.
But once again,
That's crazy.
he did not get the social cues.
That's crazy. 40 minutes?
40 minutes, bro, and was still on go.
Alright, I'm gonna head out.
Have you ever had like a producer where, like, say you're in a session with an artist, and then like it just happens to be another producer in the room, and like say you go to the bathroom, they like, yo, they trying to play on the artist.
Ooh,
I'm like, bro,
yeah.
it's a way you could do it, but it's so disrespectful when it's like, especially if someone's paying for that session.
If it's not your session, it's disrespectful.
Yeah,
That's the thing, fall back.
Like if this artist has called up all three of us here to play music for them, it may be a little different story. You know what I'm saying? It gets competitive at that point.
Yeah.
And that's some stuff that people don't really want to talk about. And sometimes it does get competitive.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I mean,
alright, cool. You gonna play that? Alright, cool. I'm gonna play this.
Exactly.
We go there. But if it's your session and somebody come in there and do that, I think that's kind of disrespectful.
It is. You gotta respect the plug. You gotta respect whoever brought you there and respect whoever session.
Prime example. Shout out to my homeboy Duke. You know what I'm saying? He brought me in on the game stuff. He's the one that initially brought me in on the game stuff, and that's prime example. What you talking about? So when he first brought me to the studio, I just kind of was like, okay, let me just get my little playlist of stuff together that I'm gonna play for game. You know, so that I think that he might like that I got,
Right.
and just pay attention to the room. Close my laptop. I'm just gonna vibe. Grab a drink, pull me up some Jameson, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Listen to the vibes. What you got? Okay, cool. Then when Game say, or Duke tell, or Game tell Duke, hey, who is this? Duke introduce me. What you got, Tech? Don't mind if I do.
You should ask.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not coming in like, hey, yo, hey,
Right.
hey.
Hey, listen, man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Exactly.
coming in there like that. I'm chilling.
You prepared if it
feel
does happen.
But see, that had to come from learning. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not gonna make it seem like a nigga just been perfect the whole time.
Right.
Cause all these things come from the experience of being in the music industry and being around certain producers and learning the etiquette. You know what I'm saying? But that's a prime example. And then he asked me the second beat I played, he went in the booth on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just gotta pay attention to the energy in the room and become a part of the story. You know what I'm saying?
Social cues.
People know they like to be probably within the first 15 seconds.
Right.
Yep.
And if they like it, they gonna be like, yo, run that back. Now keep playing
There
that
you go.
joint.
Right.
But if they don't like it, they just gonna.
They're gonna
Yeah.
and he hit me and even after that, after we kept going, I probably ended up working with this man for like 2 months. It was some go to the next ones.
Yeah,
But it wasn't because the beat wasn't dope, it's because it didn't fit in the
Right.
format
yeah.
of what we was
Exactly.
trying to get done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so there it is. I feel like it's respect, etiquette, all of that in one.
Yeah. I would always err on the side of playing too short.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'll play a beat. It'd be like 8 bars. I'm like,
Right.
but then you go
Make
ahead.
them want to play it
Like,
again.
oh, hey, go back.
Yeah,
Go back.
that?
I'm
Who's
like,
that?
okay, all right, to go back.
Yeah.
I like to
Play it
go back.
again.
Yeah, that works versus overplaying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you two verses and 2 hooks.
Yo, light flavor. We're not going to your dusty ass website, bro. Stop posting it here.
Stop, family. We got, yeah,
keep it
we
pushing.
ain't got enough gas in the
I'm
car
trying
to
to
make
be
it all
nice.
the way
We
to
got
your
a guest
website,
here,
bro.
man.
They said it. I'm just playing.
Hold on, we probably got something in the
Yeah,
chat.
we got some. So, how do you handle a person that plays their whole beat catalog just to show out, or even show their that they're better?
I feel like they end up handling themselves.
They don't get the
That's
call
facts.
back.
They end up handling themselves because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, nobody wants to be around nobody that's doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the vibe ain't called for all that.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And you guys can chime in on that answer. I'm not saying I got all the answers.
No, I agree.
But I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, like some people don't have that filter. And I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's because they haven't learned yet that ain't how you move.
You'll work with somebody that you like socially versus somebody who has more skill if the more skilled person is annoying or just doesn't have social cues.
That is super facts.
You know what I mean? Like, you like, all right, this
That's
person
so crazy.
is good. This person is cool. That person is a little bit better than them, but god damn, he get on my nerves.
Right.
You gonna call back the okay person.
Yeah,
You gonna
every
make it
time.
work.
Every time. Because that okay person can get better.
Yeah.
But it's hard to teach an asshole how not to be an asshole.
If you don't listen, bro, you dead.
There you go.
If you can't listen and can't nobody teach you nothing and you can't learn nothing, you're dead, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get far. You gotta always be a student. You have to remain a student of this fucking industry, bro.
That's a fact. Damn, what else we got in the chat? The chat is alright.
See, what's the best platform to produce, and can I be able to own my music fully even when I'm not a producer? Is there a way? So, what's the best platform? And then he wants to own the music fully, even if I'm not the producer. Is there a way?
Well, hold on. The best platform to produce? Are you talking about DAWs?
Yeah, are you saying like actually make the music in, or are you saying put your music out?
Right.
And then, as far as the owning thing, I'm a firm believer if the person did something, they should own it. I don't want to own something that I didn't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if another producer did it, then it's like, why am I trying to own?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you didn't produce it,
Yeah.
it's the producer has some ownership in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. Like, you can own
I
it.
don't really understand the question. You may have to type that again in a
Yes.
certain way. You might have been moving fast, but because I feel like, you know, even if you bring in other parties that work on whatever you're trying to produce, because you can actually produce without making a beat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Produce, like it goes into understanding what a producer actually is. You know what I'm saying? Like you can facilitate the record. You can bring in the right artists, the right writers, the right musicians to get the record done, and you actually produce the record.
Mm-hmm.
But even in doing that, there's still ownership of the players, the writers. You don't fully own that
Right,
production
exactly.
unless you doing a work for hire situation.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just kind of like,
And you're not gonna get too many people that's gonna go all the way for that in
Nah.
certain situations.
not really.
Yeah.
It depends, but not really.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with work for hire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some musicians work for hire.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's I know that's my understanding of the question.
Right. No, I think that's a good
That sounds about right, man. Speaking of work for hire, I'm dying to find some work for hire.
Man,
People, I ain't gonna lie. If I found some good work for hire people, that would be more work for those people.
Oh yeah. In certain situations, it makes sense, but I feel like, and what he's saying is, if I didn't produce the record, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
like, can I own the?
Yeah, and it's like, bro, that's kind of like, why don't you want them to own?
Yeah, if
what
you
they
state
did?
the question
Right.
like that, then I don't understand
Yeah,
what you're talking
you
about.
better know how to fight.
But if it's a situation of like,
Right.
yo, I need a guitar player to come here and put down these loops, and I'm gonna guide you and do it.
That
Then-
you have already kind of written yourself,
Exactly.
or written, not kind of, written yourself, and you just need a full musician to come in and execute the parts. It's different.
That's different. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
you can do
kind
it
of
that way.
some of those things kind of fall under the work for hire situation. You know what I'm saying? If I've already pulled up some cheesy ass VST and written this guitar part, and I need a real player to come in, that's work. That's a work for hire situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Is it cool to play a different variety of beats or just beats for that certain artist?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Go ahead.
No, you the guest.
I'm learning, bro. I'm still a student. So, but from what I've learned, bro, play you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, because you gotta think, like, some of these artists, like, this is what I think a lot of producers don't think about when they, as new producers, don't go in and work with these artists. Do you realize how many records this artist has already recorded before you came?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a major artist, they probably done got a pack from every producer
That's a fact.
that's relevant at the time of them working on that album. So your best advantage is to really go in there and play them your shit.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying?
That is a fact.
Because I feel like I can't just go think that you finna be on some trap shit. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know
That's
what you
right.
want. Like you might be a trap artist, and I'm gonna come in there and play you some trap shit, but for this particular album, you ain't
might
trying to
want
go
something.
all the way trap with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I feel like the best way is to put your A-list beats at the top and go in there and play your shit first. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
If
fact.
they bite on that, then you win.
That's a fact.
I feel like that's
And a lot of times it ain't even about your beats.
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
what I learned.
That's facts.
A lot of the time,
I already know.
yo, the crazy part about it is a lot of time it ain't even about your beats. It's about building a relationship with the artist
Mm-hmm.
and actually, hey, what you got that you need to be fixed?
Right.
What records do you have that you're excited about that you're not all the way confident about that we can
Yeah, that's a
actually
gem.
fix?
That's a gem. Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I mean, you know, I've learned that. You know what I'm saying? I keep talking about the game project because for working on this project with this man, I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this man already, before I was brought into the situation, my partner Duke and Wallace Lane, they had already went in. They already had been in with this man forever.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Game been working on this project for a minute. He has 1 million songs. This man can rap his ass off.
That's a fact.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Amazing records. But it ain't about me coming in there playing my dopest beat. It's about me coming in as if I'm being brought in as a producer, I need to be coming in trying to understand what's already being done. What direction are you trying to go in? You gotta look at yourself as a stylist. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you want a zipper on your sleeve, you want a zipper on the right pants leg, you know what I'm saying? You have to tailor this music to the artist's liking to get the placement.
Mm-hmm.
Fact.
Unless it's just a dope beat. Now,
Right.
that's not, I'm not saying none of that to discredit dope beats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because those can inspire ideas too. You understand what I'm saying? But getting in and actually getting the chance to work with the artist and listening to that one story that they might be talking about and being like, okay, this sample go with this music go with this go right here. You know what I'm saying? If we could put these drums to this will go, okay, you don't like the drums on that, okay, let me redo the kick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add another snare. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just getting the pieces to where the finished product is what the artist is excited about. It ain't about you.
That's a fact. I feel like as a producer, you gotta have that in your repertoire.
You
Though.
gotta have it.
Because a lot of producers like, I got this beat, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I play, but you gotta know how to go in and fix shit, swap shit out. You know what I mean? A lot of people can't do that because they're not really. in touch with the elements of what it takes to make a beat, or to take a beat that may be dope but not fitting for the situation and make it fit the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. But that also goes back to when you come in, you kind of falling back because you get to hear what's going on. So now you hear what's going on, you know what you got in your shit, and if you got enough things together, now you know what to play. When it's time to play. Like you say, you're gonna play your top things, but you like, you know what, that other joint that I probably wasn't gonna play, now that I hear what's going on here, let me pull that out, let me pull this out.
You know, for me, I feel like a lot of, and I did it a lot too when I was younger, I would pick beats for artists that they were already on and not realizing they've done that.
They already did that.
They already did that. And
they got 18 of them records already recorded, and you ain't heard it.
When they came out 3 years ago.
They completely off that. They looking for the new stuff.
Right.
What you got?
Exactly. And so that's what they're trying to bring new people in for that new energy. So you can't out Metro Boomin Metro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Metro Boomin is Metro
and
Boomin.
they done already been to Metro.
They call it Metro Win for that.
Exactly. So it's like, yo, only thing I can do is be Trizza, you can be Tech, and you can win in that game, but trying to out DJ Mustard somebody,
that's dead.
You playing a losing game, you know what I mean?
And when I say that's dead, I'm not saying that you can't make a beat better than DJ Mustard. Whatever that means to the producer community, like, whatever that means.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to DJ Mustard because he's dope.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
incredible, right?
Metro dope, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have to have your own identity. If you're trying to brand yourself as being your producer and make your mark in the industry, you have to do things that brand yourself as that. And one of those things is not trying to be like another producer. It's okay to be inspired. But to jack is a totally different thing.
Now
you know what I'm saying? And we can't, and the other conversation that has to be had is that us as producers, we have to dial it down a notch and realize that this is just a beat.
This is just the beginning.
A writer has to come write the song.
Now,
that marriage between the writer and the producer is what gets you the placement to the artist that says, hey, that's how I feel right now. I want that record.
Exactly.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? All this shit is what I'm learning.
Yo, you are
I'm learning, bro.
You are absolutely right. And that's also
like my beat is one half of the equation.
One of the biggest reasons not to overproduce too.
Exactly. And I'll take less than half, a fraction, because you don't know what's gonna happen. I've gotten to the point, I'm gonna give y'all a gem that I'm doing right now. This is a tech beat gem. I've gotten to the point where do not overproduce. If you're working with a writer, you have to give the writer room to write the record. You don't know what drums go with what record yet because you don't know what type of record this is.
Now we talking.
You know what I'm saying? You're trying to run and go put out the trap drums, unless you're just making a beat for placement to send out, which is nothing wrong with that. Atlantic done told you they wanted a beat pack. Warner done told you, send them your beats. Don't send them your beats.
Right.
But if you actually have the opportunity to sit down with an artist and a writer and be the producer in the midst of this formula, pay attention to the room, get the idea, get the loop, get the music or whatever you call it, get the song written to that, produce the record from there.
Right. That's dope. That's a gem. And it's also an easier way to produce.
Oh yeah, much
Easier way to produce. You don't know what the record is yet.
Yeah. And now once they do their thing, it comes to you. You know exactly what to do, and you can also work around whatever they are doing.
Right.
Man, that's a super gem. That's why Tude work like that a lot.
Man,
and I love doing stuff.
Shout out to my big bro Attitude.
Yeah,
right?
shout out to Attitude, bro. Yeah, Tude is one of the best for that. Like, yo, what's that? Take the loop, do a.
And if y'all don't know who Attitude is, promiscuous girl, go look it up.
Amongst other things. Yeah. Shout out to Tude, man. Alabama's finest out here, man. But
I think it's weird because I think when people think of placements, they think of I'm gonna make a beat and then sell the beat. And then when I got more into business, I realized that it's making a song and then we're gonna sell the idea.
You have to.
Right.
And then if you're not actually in with the artist, it's even crazier.
Yeah.
You want to be able to get to the point where you can get in the room to have the conversation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that conversation could be that placement. You know what I'm saying? You ain't heard the story yet.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, you got to think these labels have producers that are already signed to to the situation. They sending them in first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So you got to be ready to send your best shit.
Everybody fighting for 2-3
But
spots.
yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, if it's 13 songs, 10, 11 of them jumps already filled up for real.
You just
for real.
gotta go and I'm not saying I don't want the one thing I don't want to be taken away from this conversation because people understand things differently, and I'm not calling nobody stupid. I'm just saying like the one thing you take away from this is just be ready for the opportunity and get your best shit ready. And all these techniques that we giving you as far as producing the records and working with the writers are steps that you can take to prepare yourself for when it's time to actually work on the project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is stuff that you can do with your partners at the crib that's writing records. Your writers that you can do this stuff at the crib. You understand what I'm saying? And then when they call you for the placement, send the records.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Research not only the producers that you're working with, but the artists that you're submitting to as well.
Come on, man. And the writers.
And the writers.
Definitely. A lot of people overlook, like, who are the writers on the project?
That's the piece.
Yeah.
That's
They gotta write the song unless you're a 100%er. Shout out to the 100%ers out there that's actually producing,
Shout out to Karen Wallace.
writing, and doing all their own records. Shout out to them folks. But if you ain't one of them, you have to come to wit's end with your writer that's writing the record. Yeah.
I think that's a real good point that you touched on. I think I put out a post this week that kind of talked about that too. Is that as producers, especially now, like you got
Oh shit!
you got like a
Part
setup. You got like a setup like this where you can produce a
Black,
whole
not
bunch
the
of stuff.
screen.
You can do a whole bunch of stuff like this, and you sitting here, you producing, you cooking, but you by yourself. It's hard for you to think of yourself as being part of a team.
Right.
Like you're part of a team, and not only that, you're the beginning of something.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And as producers, like you said, producers want to get the beat off, boss. They want to sit and sell the beat, and they're like, boom, I did my thing, I made it. Like, nah, you just started the thing
You
to
started the
this
process.
idea that can
Yeah.
potentially be sold. And if you're smart, you want to keep yourself in the equation even after the beat
Yeah.
gets purchased.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I think that's really a dope point. It's one of the better points you brought up on this show. Thank you, Tech. Is that you part of a team, man. Whether you think about it or not, or you hope to be part of a team. That's why you're making these beats. You hope to be put on a team for a song or for a project where these things turn into something else.
Right.
Man, what else we got in the chat?
See, Winslow
Fire
says, basically prepare like you would for a job interview. Learn about the company. Prepare your portfolio accordingly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact. And yeah, and just listen, man. Listen to what's going on around, and have enough stuff on deck. And
That's beats, records, that's everything.
you touched on
Ideas.
another point too, which is really good about having your own sound. And I'm always talking about that, be different, be dope, and all that stuff. But like you said, you go in and you play you.
You play.
A
What
lot
you
of
got?
people never met
That's
themselves.
the whole quote. What you got?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. What
What
you got.
Mhm.
Yeah, what do you have? Because if you only got, and I'm not shitting on like say trap or trap producer or whatever, but if all you got is 30 trap beats, and you go in and like, no, we're not really on trap.
You can be sure.
They
can be
like,
sure.
yeah, now you stuck.
Unless you catch a wave with them. If you catch a wave with them and it's something that they feeling at that particular
Oh, then you
moment,
won.
you win.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
but a lot of times, what people want is something that they never heard before. You got to be the person to introduce them to. They can only tell you what they know.
Exactly.
But when you come with some shit, they're like, damn, well, I ain't never heard none of that. If that's really you, guess what you got on deck? A lot of you.
A lot of you.
There you go. Now you winning. And if you catch one or two or three or four on a project like my man here, now you have an identity. And people are like, yo, that you shit that you did over there, give me some of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? As opposed to, because like even if you win and you catch one with a Metro Boomin type beat,
Right.
people not really gonna keep calling you like, yo, give me another one of them Metro Boomin type trap
Right.
beats. You know what I mean? But that's funny. The whole quote, like you said, is what you got.
Exactly.
What you got?
Prentice says, have you found it easier to gain a placement if the beat you play already has a known artist feature on your beat? Only thing they would have to do is spit a 16 and it's done.
I can't really say, you know what I'm saying? I have, because at the end of the day, I haven't really walked into a record and played, like I haven't walked into a session and played an artist that another artist is already on. You know what I'm saying? I could see how that would be dope. Like, hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, can you throw a verse on this already? It just depends on how your relationship is.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't go into as a new producer being brought into a new to work with a new artist. I wouldn't necessarily go in with that in the forefront.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's something I would bring in. Like, hey, yo,
Right.
I think, yo, I got this feature from so and so. I think it'd be dope for you. But see, that's based upon the relationship that you're able to build with that artist. You know what I'm saying? I think labels are more so better with that. You know what I'm saying? If you're a whole label and your artist, you know what I'm saying, did the record and you have a verse from Travis Scott and Travis Scott cleared it,
it's easy.
you know what I'm saying? It's a different story. But you as a upcoming producer into a situation or a new situation, I wouldn't lead with that.
Yeah, and then that clearance thing as a whole, because
People don't realize the artists have to clear the
Man.
labels.
Yeah.
Have to clear these features.
Getting clearances is tough.
Yeah.
For a lot of artists, it is tough.
especially depending on what labels you sign to and who's affiliated,
Yeah.
it's always gonna be they gonna tax, they gonna try to.
You know?
It's people with pull, it's labels, big labels with pull that still be having a hard time getting stuff cleared.
Clear. You gotta clear it, man.
Yeah. So you as an independent producer, that's kind of a
I mean, it's a catchy situation, man.
yeah.
I mean, I've definitely Frankenstein some records of like, oh, I got this hook, and we can leave this person on the second verse
Right.
if you want to, you know what I'm saying, or we can leave it open. But it's like you said, it's not like the first thing I'm pitching.
Right.
It's like
not the first thing I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you like this one, all right, maybe you will like this one,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and so is already on this, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I want that record. I don't want so and so on it.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't really like so
Next beat.
and so. Facts. Facts. What else?
Orso says so much gems this week. Man, people is really enjoying you,
Come
Tech.
on, man.
I'm glad to be here, bro.
Jim
Glad to
Jones.
be here. Jim Jones.
Couple status.
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Hold on, what else we got?
That was a
I'm
good
gonna
one.
look at some of these.
That was a good one.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna look at some of these questions from Oral Soul here. All right, so here's one. All right, this has nothing to do with production, but we're gonna sidetrack for a second. All right, Tech Nine sounds off on Eminem and calls him a culture vulture. Basically, at what point does the line between culture vulture, like, okay, what makes a culture vulture? In your opinion, because I keep hearing people talk about that.
I feel like
Would you call Eminem a culture vulture?
I don't know if I would. I definitely would never go on record saying that I would call Eminem a culture vulture.
Yeah,
I just don't feel like he's a culture vulture. I
He's
feel
done
like
so much
Eminem
more.
is an amazing MC. Like I can't go on record saying that I would
Okay.
call Eminem a culture vulture.
I don't get it either. Like,
I think you're a vulture when you're taking but you never giving back.
Culture vultures is niggas that go jump on the hype shit. You know what I'm saying? And for benefit of them.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like people often have the same conversation about Drake. I feel like, I mean, Drake is a reputable artist. This nigga's
Talented.
He's already proven himself. You know what I'm saying? Now that doesn't mean he can't discover new talent.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people always be so quick to jump to have this. Oh man, you just doing this because. Wait a minute, we in the music industry.
Exactly.
Yeah. Drake could jump on a wave.
What you want me to do?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Supposed
Like
to be
what you-
relevant. That's the job.
And then at that, you can look at it like this. Like if Drake jump on it, he exposes this to a whole nother demographic of people that would have never known this existed.
There you go.
So is that helping him or is that helping the artist?
Exactly. Like Migos.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man.
Drake jumping on Versace was really, I knew them from Bando and the early stuff, but when they get,
I mean, us being from the South, we already knew
Yeah,
Migos was already booming.
but when Versace
You understand?
hit, it was
But
different.
when Versace hit
everybody
with
in.
the Drake feature on it,
It was different. And look how far they got off of that one little stimulus package.
Right. But they were
it's
ready
forever
for the
though.
opportunity. They knew
It's
what to do.
forever though. That's a relationship that's built forever.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And they knew what to do.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that Migos can hit Drake or Drake can hit Migos for anything now.
That's right.
You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? That's a relationship
Right.
that's built forever.
That's right. I don't want to cut you off,
off.
but they about to kick us off. So
Okay.
if we didn't get to your question, please ask it again. We got Tech Beats here. Any plugs, bro?
Game, born to rap.
Born to rap.
Oh,
November
yeah,
2
Instagram
tonight.
too.
We already cut out. We'll come back with it.
That was quick.
Yeah.
They cut us
Yeah,
off.
they cut us off quickly.
YouTube, we still here.
Yeah, YouTube, we still in the building. YouTube don't get the cut off. They're like, nah, we get the whole show, bro.
We get to see y'all awkwardly switch the camera.
shout out to everybody on YouTube, man. All right, yeah, we back quick fast. Bam. We about to do the pen.
Yeah.
So while Trizza does the pen, in case you don't know, and in case you're watching the replay on Saturday or whatever, we are back. It's UnQuantized Podcast, the second half. We're here with none other than Tech Beats,
Hey.
producer extraordinaire.
What's good?
Yes,
we
he's in the building.
Your ID is Tech_Beats.
Yeah, TEC_BEATZ.
Cool.
There you go. TEC_BEATZ.
Exactly.
There you go.
We in here.
Yes, indeed. So I think we left off on the culture vulture thing. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but
Yeah,
I don't really get that. And I think if somebody knows,
Because everybody's subject to their opinion.
especially like Eminem, I'm pretty sure he can name you a million legendary MCs and know all the verses and all that. So I'm like, what makes you a vulture if you studied the entire culture and then perfected it?
And let's not act like we weren't influenced by like 8 Mile and no, even those first albums and stuff. Like, no, I was super influenced by Eminem early, and so it's like, how can he be a vulture if he kind of put me on some stuff? You know what I'm saying?
That's a
Right.
fact.
Yeah. The only person I'm trying to think, would Milli Vanilli be a culture vulture at the time?
Probably not. That's probably like a label. It seems like a
Yeah.
label money grab right there.
I'm trying to think, who would I consider a culture vulture?
I'm thinking.
Even if people say Iggy Azalea, and I don't even necessarily agree with that because I've met, and she's really about that culture. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
she really knows certain stuff about rap. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel like people try to make it a racial thing, but it's like, bro, it's like, yo,
Yeah, it's always that.
yeah, it's like, bro, it's not these especially
We ran
now.
to that quick,
Yeah,
just to be honest.
Yeah, play the race card.
We'll play the race card quick.
Real fast. Even if it's something that, as a culture, you don't do anymore. Like I heard people remember when in Asia they start breakdancing, and then they start breakdancing way better.
oh yeah.
The like black people, they're like, that's cultural appropriation. I'm like,
Is it?
when the last time your ass did some breakdancing? They
Yeah.
took it and started doing and killing it.
You're not spinning on your head no more.
Man, yeah, you need to give some thanks for somebody keeping the shit alive.
Oh, you know what? I
You
think
know what I'm saying?
I think I'll put it. You got a Z on it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll play with that.
Oh,
You got it.
Trizza, man.
Oh, the fake tech beats is getting love right now.
Dang.
Hold on, I got you. I ain't gonna go out like that.
Go unfollow them right now.
Unfollow the fake tech beats.
I ain't gonna do you like that, cuz.
Dean.
I swiped over in there. I don't know who that was, but shout out to her.
Hey, yo, that's always the worst. When you jump in somebody else's live.
Yo, shout out to whoever that was.
You ever been in there for like just long enough where they're like, hey, what's up?
Oh yeah, you like,
Damn, and I'm the only thing in here. Yo, just stopping through to say what up real fast. Peace. See you later.
all right.
Hive Mind is in here, man. Shout out to Hive Mind. I feel like we had a good question in this joint too.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna ask it again.
Yeah.
what do y'all think about Tyler the Creator and Drake getting booed?
Well, just Drake got booed.
Well, it was at Tyler's festival.
Well, yeah, at Camp Flogger.
I think this I don't what's the culture that I want to call it. It's a group mentality.
Mob mentality.
I think that's really taken over because to me it makes no sense that one of the biggest artists of our generation
Gets booed.
gets
Who
booed.
booed Drake?
Yeah, some people just want to, some people just got to be the anti.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I find it hard to believe that you are at that particular venue with all those people and you don't like Drake.
And that lineup was crazy. And Drake was the only person they had Mos Def, they had IDK, they had a vast variety of people there. And it's like you picked the most mainstream one to try to like target. I just felt like it was like a one person did it and it was like, oh, that's funny.
It's an asshole movie.
Yeah.
You know, somebody
I wasn't there, so I don't know what to think. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I heard that they told the audience that it was going to be one person come out and then there was another person come out. I just don't know. I don't know.
But that's
I
not
don't know.
Drake's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that gets into, it's a whole mentality that I don't kind of get. It's like people that say negative stuff on people's Facebook feed, like, yo, I think this shit is trash.
Oh, bro.
Like, you could just not said anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't like Drake, you just chill throughout the set. Like,
Sure.
what is you booing gonna do?
I'm just excited to hear these Drake bars about. Now Drake about to go off on one.
But
of
as
these,
you know, it's crazy. Didn't he release something that said he had a residency there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
y'all gonna see me again? Like, why y'all booing this shit?
He played it
I'm here.
perfectly.
Like-
He played it perfectly.
That's why I like Drake, because he doesn't take himself too seriously. You follow what's his name? It's Biscuit.
Yeah,
He posted
yeah.
a meme where it's this dude. He's like, he did a voiceover and he's like,
I've seen that.
He's like, yo, clearly y'all don't know art or Jamaica.
I'm gonna show you how to speak Jamaican.
Yeah, and Drake in the comment was like, clearly they don't know art of Jamaica. I was like, yo, that's great, dog, because if you lean into it, people respect it. If you try to fight it, people gonna be like, he's whack. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Drake for knowing how to maneuver.
Right.
Yeah, but he been doing it for a minute. He
Yes.
is a super vet, man. So
Yeah, don't be going born people like that, man.
man, all right. So okay, I know what I want to get into with my man Tech Beats. Both of us, all three of us actually share a love for one particular thing. Ableton, son.
Ableton shit. One more time. With the claps.
It's been plenty of days. Me and Tech will be on the phone, and 2 hours will go by, and we just nerding out about Ableton.
Yeah.
And why more people should love it. So, to you, because I've answered this plenty of times on the show, what is it about Ableton that makes it the shit for you?
I don't know, man. For some reason, it's just how my brain works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, you know, I think through my matriculation as a producer, like I've gotten to the point to where I want to use something that allows me to get to my initial idea and thought the fastest. And I feel like Ableton is that for me. You know what I'm saying? Use FL. Don't sleep. I'll pull out my FL on you right now. I'll pull out Reason on you right now. I'll pull out Machine on you right now. The MPC software. I'll pull out all that shit right now and make a beat in it right now. But I feel like Ableton is the brain. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And then with giving respects to Pro Tools as far as the finishing product,
Of course.
I still feel like Ableton is like, for the creative aspect of it and actually getting the idea out and being able to have all the possibilities that you can have, that's it for me. That's it. I feel like that's how I work.
Hey, man. Spoken like a true, real one, and double word score for the word matriculation.
Matriculation.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I'm saying? I got some words for y'all.
If we was playing Scrabble, I'm like,
I'm about
shit,
spell
I'm out,
it.
dog.
You know what I'm
I'm I ain't got no letters. but nah, I happen to agree with you. And you're also one of them people that we talked about this before, because you mentioned using different things and how you can make a beat and whatever.
Yeah.
And we've had conversations where like you're not afraid to experiment. Like we'll talk about hooking up the MPC and running it through this
Yeah,
and making
exactly.
it for no reason at
no
all.
reason.
To use it for 2 hours.
Did it
And
work?
be like,
Nah, nigga, we ain't doing that no more.
Or did it work? Yeah, it worked.
It
Still
worked.
doing
yeah,
that?
exactly.
Nah, I did it for that day. It was
Right.
fun.
So, okay, I want to hear your opinion on this. And I've heard this before. Germs999 says the learning curve is hard, though.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say about all learning curves. The first thing you should do with a learning curve is going into a new software, DAW, whatever you're doing, is learn how to do the things that you know how to do first. So, I feel like with me, the learning curve was, okay, if I can figure out how to quantize, if I can figure out how to put my VSTs in here, I'm straight from there. Everything else is going to be figured out along the way.
Exactly.
The next thing with Ableton is to learn how to warp audio. Once you learn how to warp audio and work with loops. Loops are the best tutorial when you're working with Ableton. in audio, learning how to loop and warp files.
That's a fact.
It's YouTube videos, a million YouTube videos about.
Right.
We look at YouTube on an everyday basis. It's all about where you choose to put your time in.
Facts.
All the information is there. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? All the information is there.
That's a fact. That's a good point. I always say, ask what do I want to do,
What do you want to know how to do
and
first?
then, yeah, and then figure out how to do that. Versus like, all right, what does this do? Because
Right.
then you're at the mercy of just a whole bunch
Everything.
of features.
You're at the mercy of the rabbit hole. And then the thing is, it's repetition.
Yep.
And I said, once you learn how to do it, delete that, open the software up again, do it again. Delete it, don't save, open the software up, and do it again. Repetition.
Facts.
There you go. Get your 10,000 hours in. I think it's easier for a person like me, you, a person like Trizza, because like even when you talk about it, and we talk about it on the show all the time, it's a certain passion to it. And
Right.
you just a student of the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think it takes having that passion and being excited about the shit to be like, all right, I want to do this again, or I want to put these 10,000 hours in. And honestly, man, I feel like you either got to find a way to get gassed up, or if you ain't gassed about it, then it ain't really what you should be.
Right.
It ain't really what you should be doing, man. Because you've been excited about Ableton since the day I met you.
I'm still excited about Ableton.
That's what makes it so fire.
I use this shit every day, and I still learn new stuff every day.
It's never ending. That's what it is for me too. It's like a lot of stuff you hit the ceiling quick.
Yeah.
With Ableton, it's like
You ain't
It's
hit that
unlimited.
one.
Nah.
And then the thing is, the other conversation we gotta have is you don't be afraid to experiment with other things, because at some point all of these things become tools of creation.
yep.
Facts.
There
Like,
you go.
you know what I'm saying? Like you can. Who said you can't do your drums in FL? Nobody says you couldn't do that.
Trizza said
No.
you could.
Nobody said you couldn't do all the music in Reason and then export it. Nobody said you can do whatever you want to do.
By the way, he hates Reason.
I hate reason.
I mean, that's you.
Yeah, I know, right? But, yeah.
But no, honestly,
I know
though,
some niggas that go.
Oh yeah, I know
Crazy
a bunch of
reason.
people. Nah, I know a bunch of people. I just personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's really the thing. A lot of people feel like they have to be either or. You can have favorite things, but all of us know how to use various.
Man, you
words.
can do whatever you want to do.
That's a fact. It's all about here. If you can get, if it's something that allows what I hear here to come out into the world,
I'm
it's
good.
usable.
Yeah.
I can use it.
Hey,
Come
we
on,
can
man.
cut the machine on, we can cut FL on, we can cut push 2 on, we can cut whatever. It's the music. Do you actually think, this is my question to y'all, do you actually think that when you get this placement, that somebody is in the audience at the concert trying to figure out what you produced this record on?
I'm like, man, that sounds like Logic,
Do
bro.
you think they care where this snare drum came from? Do you actually think they care about the song?
Facts.
The
Man.
ticket that they just paid for to come to at that show was not to come sit in front row and be like, hey man, this nigga used FL.
Bruh.
Nigga, they used there for the artist and the experience of that piece of music that you created and how that made them feel.
Did he use a loop?
I don't care.
I don't like loops.
I like the song.
There you go. That's what, because the consumer ain't on this level and they don't care. And I always say, if you care about that, you make music for producers.
Exactly. The
Right.
consumer is not out there trying to figure out who snared it is.
All
Yeah.
yeah. Is it beating?
They don't
Yeah,
even know what a
dance
snare is.
floor.
Not
Yeah.
to diminish anybody's knowledge of music, but half the people don't even know what a kick or a snare drum is.
No clue.
Right.
They like hi-hat. What is that?
What is that? Which sound is that?
Exactly.
Yeah. And shout out to the people, the average listener who can hear just a song.
A song.
Because we
It's a
as
song.
producers and
Oh, I-
all of you out there, we can't hear a song. We hear sounds.
Exactly.
We hear kicks, snares.
And I'm a
hats,
victim
loops.
of it too.
Yeah.
At some point in my creation process, I'm like, this kick drum is finna, bruh.
They gonna dominate it.
Hey, this kick drum that Oracle put in this pack
About to go ham.
is about to be crazy when they hit this in the stadium.
Yeah, we all go through it, but it's good to know that you can take yourself out of that and be like, yo, it's all about the song. But I think that comes with maturity
Facts.
as a producer.
Yeah.
But
Oh, shout out to Mel Makes Music, man. Shout out to the homie. I
Oh,
don't know if
yes,
y'all
sir.
know Mel, but Mel, a lot of big records. Dope producer, man.
Shout out to Mel.
Quintino says more cowbell. Facts.
Yeah, sometimes you need that. You need that in your life. But man, definitely true. You gotta be. I think you should be able to use a bunch of different shit.
Mhm.
Tech, you are also a lover of one of my favorite pieces of equipment, and me and you have had. We talked way too long about this little piece of thing. It's right over there, right behind you.
The
bro.
micro sampler?
The
Yo.
Korg micro
Core
sampler.
micro sample.
I try to tell people on this show the micro sampler is one of the best little inventions
It is.
ever, bro.
It is.
Tech is also a fan of the micro sampler. I guess you can still get one somewhere now.
They kind of hard to find now.
Yeah, they kind of. To be honest with you, I don't know why you would want to get one unless you
already had one.
Yeah.
And experience like just sampling on it is just something different.
Yeah, you gotta be a nerd.
You gotta, yeah, absolutely. But it sounds good too. So, you know,
It does.
it just depends on if you want to go down the path of trying to go back into the analog and trying to figure out different textures of the different equipment and stuff like that.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
Yeah, if you get it and you think it's gonna like be easy or make you better or something like that.
You got time to spend to learn it. Get one.
There you go. And
If you can find one.
and no little thing about routing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bro, that's the part that be killing me, bro. I don't be wanting to route stuff at the
Right.
bar.
It's definitely ins and outs. It
Well,
ain't
everything
gonna
been
be
on a computer now. Niggas don't be wanting to do all that no more.
shit.
But some niggas do.
Come on, man. Them textures. You run some shit through some wires every now and again.
Electricity. Anytime you run a sound through electricity, you're gonna get something different.
There you go. That's the real talk right there.
That's right.
And that's why it's like, oh, if you run this through this or do this and with that, it's running through all the wires, all that circuitry. You gonna get that texture.
That
Right.
juice.
Yeah, people are like, man, why you still use a reel-to-reel or a tape deck or anything with wires? I'm like,
When you download this next pack, you'll see.
that's
You're
what
welcome.
that's what it all is.
Indubitably.
We already did the work for you.
There you go.
For you to throw on your sample
Right.
of choice.
There you go. You don't know what the extra something is in there? Is electricity.
Right.
Shout out to Black Metaphor.
Oh, shout out to Black Metaphor. Man, if you don't know who Black Metaphor is, just man, do your research. Black is
That's the homie.
Fire, man.
super fire, man. I seen Black on Instagram doing a beat the other day. I was like, man, if I
That boy
wasn't
stay with
working
some
on
slaps,
this,
boy.
yeah,
He stay with some
Yeah,
slaps.
he be killing.
super slaps. And he always like, he's like, who do you hear on this? I ain't gonna lie. Most of Black's joints, I'm like, I know a couple people I can hear on it, but it's always Ross. I ain't gonna lie, I want to hear a whole Black Metaphor on that.
That'd be
fire.
crazy.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Yeah,
Let me get one on that Black Metaphor when you get that shit. We just one beat.
You put a little chord.
Let me add a hi-hat in there.
right.
If you need a triangle, cuz you got it, dog. We got you.
You ever need a snare, bro? I got one. I got a snare.
Okay, so Tech, one piece of equipment, what should I get? This is the question. If you had to pick one piece of equipment for somebody to get, what would you tell them?
Between what? I just need picking anything.
Anything.
Just get Ableton, bruh. Hey, get Ableton. And if we talking about a dog, get Ableton.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
So that piece of equipment, I safe to assume maybe push.
Oh
If you
yeah,
get a
if
push,
we
you gotta
talking-
get
yeah,
Ableton.
Get a push. Push two.
Yep. There you go.
I feel like when people like going back to dude saying this, like the learning curve is crazy. I feel like people look at it wrong. Like no matter if you got a Tesla or a Chevy, you gotta know how to drive a car.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And most
That's
cars
why I
work
said,
the
you
same.
know what I'm saying? It's all about going to the processes that you know how to do first. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like, find out how to quantize in there first. You know what I'm saying?
How
Find out what a browser is, how you load your
Yep.
sounds, all that stuff. Find out what the sampler of that program is,
Yep.
and then get busy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not to diminish anybody's knowledge, but you'd be surprised at how many emails I get. Like, yo, I bought your packs. How do I get them into Machine, or how do I get them into Logic? Or I'm like,
Real questions, bro.
yeah. Once again, you went to the dealership, you bought a car, and you like, this car is broke, and the dealer's like, what's wrong with it? And it turns out you just don't know how to drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, no, you should learn how to drive first, then go buy the car.
Research.
Yeah,
YouTube is your best friend.
Man.
YouTube is literally the Matrix, man.
there it is.
Everything.
Everything.
It's everything.
And all you got to do is follow along. too.
That's it.
That's the thing. Like, load it up. What they do, boom, let me do that. What else? Let me do that. Just follow along, man. That's it.
Facts. Now, I ask this question to everybody. Tech, who, I call it the Mount Rushmore, who influenced you? And it's not the best, it's not, but just people who influence you, your top 4 of people who, like, their production made you who you are. Who would you say your top 4 is?
Timberland, Pharrell, Dre, and I'm gonna throw Lil Jon in there.
I like that one.
Because the thing is, it's like,
I like it.
I'm from Gainesville, you know what I'm saying? I'm originally from Gainesville, Georgia. And you know what I'm saying, the type of music that they used to play in the clubs in Gainesville used to be a whole bunch of Lil Jon shit. So it was like, you know what I'm saying, as an up and coming producer, it would be like, damn, how Lil Jon 808 like that? Like, Lil Jon 808s used to hit so hard. And I just never forget the first time I actually got a chance to go into the studio. I think I was at Zach's, right next to Stank On You. And I got a chance to sit in a Lil Jon session, and when he played this one beat and this 808 came on that was so crazy, I was like, bro, this Lil Jon is like the GOAT. Like, I don't know why like niggas be trying to leave him out of the conversation.
No,
like, you can't leave that man out. You
top.
can't leave John. You can't leave Lil Jon out of the conversation. You can't leave Brian Michael Cox out of the conversation when it comes to like. You can't leave Toomp out the conversation. You can't leave Jazzy Fate out the conversation, because it's like all these things be going like regional. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these debates be regional too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like what you was listening to when you was growing up.
Yeah. Right. That's true.
What you had access to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Dre too. I gotta put Dre in there. I think I said, did I say Dre?
Yeah, you said Dre.
I said Dre. Okay, so yeah, like these niggas was like, these niggas paved the way for a lot of niggas, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dope lineup. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that 4th one, mate. That brought it right home too. That was nice.
I had to. Like like there's no disputing it. And with DJ Toomp, Jazzy Fate, like Dallas Austin, like come on, bro.
Man, come on, bro.
We can't not look at these things.
What? Damn,
these things are valid.
That's right.
Yeah, bro.
Didn't you get a Grammy with Becox or nomination?
Nominated. You know what I'm saying? That was actually my first official placement with Brian Michael Cox. Yeah, that was my first placement with Tamar Braxton.
Okay, yeah, I remember it.
Yep. And the crazy part about it is that came from going to show Brian Ableton. It came from going to do a demo of Push 1 for Brian Michael Cox.
That's fine.
There you go.
Playing my role.
There you go.
I played my role.
Got in the room. Was ready for the opportunity.
And that record was hard too.
Yeah, that record was
I remember it.
Facts.
That was a blessing, bro.
Damn. Okay.
All right, what else we got in here?
Let's see. Let me see what people talking about. Someone asked about how's the audio interface on the Push.
There's no audio interface on Push.
Nope. The Push is a controller specifically made for Ableton.
Facts.
But while you look for the next joint, I would tell that person that the thing that's dope about the Push in comparison to other controllers to me is that other controllers kind of function as a VST or instrument inside of your DAW, whereas the Push is a physical representation of the DAW.
Right.
Like the tracks you see on your Push, that is your
everything coincides.
Right. So you're actually controlling the DAW as opposed to controlling something like a machine that's a VST inside of the DAW,
right,
or something like that. That they got one of
an
the
actual instrument.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a fact. The way that they lay it out it's amazing.
Yeah.
How functional it is. And on the low, a lot of companies out here they make stuff and they change this and the new one. Ableton, they slow.
I mean, but if you kind of pay attention to how all these companies are developing shit, they're all starting to incorporate the clip workflow.
Oh, yeah.
You know it.
The machine jam.
Yeah.
Like they all throwing in like things that we've already seen and Push 2 and Ableton.
Ableton
You know what I'm saying? It's starting. Even FL Studio got a pattern sequencer.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like, that's what y'all trying to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're influenced by the workflow.
Exactly.
There you go.
So I don't know, man. I'm not trying to say that Ableton is the best thing ever, but it's the best thing ever.
It's that, think about
To
how
me,
long, think about how long ago the Push 2 came out. That is Ableton's past, and that is still the future of a lot of these companies. The new stuff they're
it's
rolling
just not
out.
coming into the workflow of clips.
There you go. And I know they tried not to because it was such a bite, but it's such a brilliant workflow. Like
Yeah, it is actually.
you know, what I mean?
Ableton to me is dope because you can make beats, you can DJ, and you can DJ well. And
No, let me let you understand something, bro. Like the Ableton is like niggas run their whole shows off of Ableton. Understand?
Lights.
You understand what I'm saying?
Everything.
Video.
You know what I'm saying?
Killing.
So it's like, shout out to Meek Mill, you know what I'm saying? He flew me out. Shout out to my manager, Mike Brinkley. I flew out to Atlanta not too long ago to help Meek Mill put his whole show together, and they put the whole show together in Ableton. And they had to bring in my sis, Laura Escade, to assist for the rest of the
Shout out
tour.
to Laura.
You know
Laura's
what I'm
dope.
saying?
Yeah.
Laura, like, it's like everybody run their show off of Ableton, bro.
It's amazing.
So it's like, you know, there's no other software that you can map things how you can map it in Ableton,
Exactly.
bro.
That's a fact. You can control anything. You can change anything.
If it got a MIDI CC, you can map it.
There you go. There you go. Man, listen. Yeah, it's still the shit. By the way, speaking of being at Mike Brinkley's studio, you brought up those pictures. I got video from that day when we was in that.
With Saha?
Yep. Well, I got video from, it was a day Saha was there, and then I also got video from a day it was just me and you.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I gotta show you that shit. We was cooking. Up.
See, do folks like to push because there's a lot of pads, so you can essentially utilize the pads without having to switch banks?
I mean, that's a reason. That's
Well,
one
just think
reason.
about this. Like, a keyboard has how many notes on it at a time? 61,
Yep.
49, or what?
25.
76,
Yeah, 88.
or 88.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? At any given time on a push 2, depending on what you're using it in, you have access to 64 pads. So if you're in a drum rack, well, that's without banking. So that not to mention that there's octaves. You know what I'm saying? Like you can octave up and octave down.
Right.
So who doesn't want access to 128 sounds?
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and then at the end of the day, it's like each lit note that's different color is a tonic. So it's a different octave. So it's like having a full range keyboard right there on pads.
Yeah.
Right. It's something like, I feel like you like that. Houston will play whole musical thing on the push.
Jonathan Stein.
Bro,
Yep.
y'all be going.
Let's not even talk about
ham.
Jonathan Stein. That's a whole nother beast.
Going ham.
If y'all don't know who Jonathan Stein is, go look him up
Facts.
and see what he does on the push.
That's a fact.
Y'all be playing that joint like it's a, like a keyboard. I was like, yo, y'all be going.
Yo, it's
ham.
amazing. And like, I need to tighten up on my chops on the push too, but you know what I'm saying, just how I use it, you know what I'm saying, being within the realms of hip hop and trap and stuff. I'm not really playing so much keys, but the thing that I do use it for is like when I lock the key in, I can find the key of whatever I'm in, I can look at the key of whatever sample I'm using and immediately go into that key on push, put it in key mode and play my 808s, bass lines, additional keys. Like it's just how you choose to understand it and how you choose to use it in your work.
Right.
Chord shapes too.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Chord shape, learning the chord shapes.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
I was a big fan of the MPC, but my biggest gripe was I only have 16 pads at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would bring in a MIDI keyboard and, like you said, load up every key with drums.
Right.
And I'm like, now I wish they was pads.
Exactly.
That shit, I was like, here it is.
When the push came in, the NPCs started collecting that. They
Yo.
sent over.
Chilling.
That boy
Chilling.
over there by himself.
Dog.
He not even in the setup no more.
Nah, he just that's an artwork.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
art.
it is.
It's up under the art.
Up under the art. Yeah, it's art under art.
It goes with the actual picture.
It's the feng shui.
Yeah, exactly. In the back room, it's a couple of them boys. They
And
they
then you got the
rapping it.
boy over here. He's
Oh,
still in the workflow.
Yeah, he chilling.
So, you know
he
what
in
I'm saying?
Vegas mode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them just lights.
Yeah, all of the lights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't go in the equipment graveyard in the back. His NPCs just dead up in that thing.
So Quintino said Tory Lanez and Hitmaker are great at remixing. Who is your favorite when it comes to remixing records?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but that nigga Hitmaker be going crazy.
Man.
Going crazy.
Hey, yo. Hey, Hitmaker be remaking some shit, boy. He is crazy. He's crazy.
And they
with
do it well, because
He
it's
does it
hard to
well.
remake some of these hit songs.
I'm not hating on nobody. Tory Lanez is dope too.
Oh, yeah,
Tory Lanez do his
that
thing
new
too. You know
mixtape
what I'm
is
saying?
Oh,
fire.
it's Chicks Say Five?
No, that joint's fire,
Come
bro.
on,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
Go check out.
No, the
them
song
out, man.
him and Jacquees on Jacquees' album is fire.
I
Have you heard it?
haven't heard that Queen's album yet.
Fire.
Hitmaker just find a formula, and that's what I'm saying. Once you find your formula, you just run with it. Run with it till it run out.
To me, it's New Age Puff.
Mm-hmm.
It's New Age Puff. I thought DJ Khaled was New Age Puff, but Hitmaker is definitely New Age Puff.
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole bad boy formula, and man, killing it. Shout out to the homie Paul Cabin too.
Oh, yeah, Paul is going ham, bro.
Oh, you already know, bro.
Yeah, Paul is going ham right now. The mapping in Ableton is mind blowing. Facts.
Oh yeah,
it is.
and let's not even talk about Max for Live.
Oh,
That's a whole other beast.
Max for Live. If you use Ableton and you don't use Max for Live instruments, that should be what you do this weekend. All I would say is go to Google, type in Max for Live device library, and enjoy yourself. It's literally thousands of plugins.
There's so many.
99% of them are free. And
I think Master Live be like that one hall at when you go to NAM.
yeah,
And it's like how you got like all the independent developers at the bottom.
yeah,
And they be having all the crazy
the dopest
gadgets that you never seen before.
That's
That's what Master Live is to me.
Right, and a lot of it, it's not even like plugins and effects. It's just utilities, like something simple that does one thing, and you be like, damn.
Like Master Live is like, yeah, they got like y'all just gotta check that out for sure.
Hey man, if you know about Max for Live, spam the hearts. I just want to see how many people is hip to Max for Live. Spam the hearts in the chat if you know about that.
Speaking of NAM, you going this coming up here?
Probably, I'll probably be that somewhere.
We didn't go this last year, but the year before, I loved it. I didn't like NAM necessarily. It was my first time experiencing it. So it was, in my head, I had it one way.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, I was like, oh, this is big ass Guitar Center. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, basically.
But what I loved is we linked.
Yeah.
It was Cap Sun was there, Decap was
Yeah,
there.
Decap was there, Cap Sun.
Siege.
Mark.
Siege was there.
What's his name? Mark. I'm messing up his name.
Mark Bird.
Mark Bird.
Yeah, Mark Bird was there.
It was so. It's like a picture, and it's like 20 of us.
Mike Checkmate was there.
Yep. Oh yeah, shout out to Mike Checkmate.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I love the networking about.
Yeah.
Now.
That's what it be. You know what I'm saying? It's like a good networking experience, and then you
Yeah.
get to see all the new stuff that's coming out. If you don't already have a relationship with the company,
Right.
and you get to go see.
Mhm.
Hey, you can get to go. That's the perfect time to actually build those relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. Go to NAM, build you some relationships.
Yo, you gonna see everybody there. I bumped into Rance. Rance was there. Yeah.
Shout out to 1500 and that.
Yeah, shout
for
out
sure.
to 1500.
They moving in LA.
Oh man,
It was somebody that was mad random that was there.
Actually, me and Rance just
Wait.
did the BET Next Big Thing show. We did that
Okay.
for the last 4 contestants of the show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We
Nice.
produced the last 4 records for them.
Oh no, that's fine.
Dope.
It was
So
Sway
shout
Play.
out to Rance for bringing me in on that.
Yep. 1500. Oh yeah, Flavor Flav. Yeah, he was playing the piano.
Yeah, Flavor Flav was at NAM randomly. It was just a bunch of random, just like a bunch of people who look like Led Zeppelin.
That's how everybody at NAM look.
Yeah, it was like 20 guys look like
Sunglasses,
no one
yeah,
can do it.
sunglasses, long beards, and big hats.
Yeah, but I think the people made it fun for me is because we were just running around. Of course, we were drinking. We were
Right.
turned up.
Oh, they had Jameson on
Oh
the
yeah,
on the showroom floor. I'm like, Jameson? Yeah,
yeah, we was lit early.
yeah, we was super lit. Daytime lit.
We might have to pull back up, man.
Yeah, I
Uh,
wasn't mad.
what is the best recording software in your opinion?
In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
For recording what? Anything?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're talking about like vocals when they say recording software.
Man, this crazy part about it is the last few months I've been recording everything in Ableton, bro.
For real?
Yeah, man. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still, to give you an honest answer to that question, I still say Pro Tools is kind of like the industry standard still.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is like, once you get ready to send that session off, they asking you for the Pro Tools session.
Exactly.
If they're not asking you for your stems to import into Pro Tools. So, I feel like as far as like recording, like live musicians and stuff like that, Ableton is dope. But as far as like tracking like vocals and stuff like that and actually facilitating the whole session, it still gotta go to Pro Tools to get mixed. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you can use your discernment between those two. And any software you may use, I know some people that record in FL, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the best thing to do because I don't, And I may be saying that because I don't know much about the process.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But I feel like when it comes to like vocal comping and stuff like that and making playlists, Pro Tools kind of got that on.
Oh yeah, that's what it's built for.
And Logic too. You know what I'm saying? Logic has a dope comping system. You know what I'm saying? How they make their takes and set up the comps. But I don't know, man. I feel like, man, I just, you know, at the vibe I've been on, just like producing records and like writing records. I feel like just to have the vocals in the same DAW that you're actually producing in, just lets you go to a different level.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. That is key. And also, man, when it comes to comping, always gotta give an honorable mention to Reaper. Reaper had comping on.
Hey, you know
back
what's
in the
crazy?
day.
I just seen a YouTube video on Reaper the other day, and I was like, should I just download this just to
that's fire,
see
bro.
what it is? Because somebody was talking about Reaper, and I was like, one of my homeboys used Reaper.
That was my
You know what I'm saying?
Reaper.
I haven't really like jumped into it for real, but I'm like,
Before Ableton, man, that was my get down. I was a Reaper man. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really listened.
Reaper man, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I haven't really got into Reaper yet, but I heard it's some dope software, so you know I'm not gonna knock nothing.
It is. It's slept on. It's super
Especially
slept
for
on.
free fee. It's still free?
I think. I don't know. Yeah, I ain't used Reaper since probably 2009 or 10. No, probably like 2010, 11.
Yeah, I started. Miko days is the last time I seen Reaper.
But ain't that what the Miko used to run off of, Reaper?
Yeah, they struck some type of deal with that company. Yeah. Damn, the Miko days.
Man. Now, you mentioned like recording the vocals and then making the beat in the same DAW. Do you feel you coming from a rap background and you rapping and understanding melody and lyrics helps you with making beats and structuring beats?
Absolutely. That goes into arranging. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know like verse structure, you know what I'm saying, hook, post, pre, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it is like just the stuff that I've been working on over the last few months is like you determine the format. You know what I'm saying? This is a song that you're putting together that people are gonna listen to for 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how does it feel? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So but I still feel like knowing, okay, intro, verse, pre, hook, verse, hook, post, bridge. Like I feel like knowing those things definitely help with arranging a record.
Man, that's
And being in like, you know what I'm saying, sometimes I take acapellas, bro.
Oh, bro.
That's yo.
Even if I don't get on there and fucking mumble for 12 bars,
That's an
just
UnQuantized
so I
rule.
can get, you know what I'm saying, a basic format, you know?
That is my.
Might not be no words, but it's gonna help me get the time.
Bro, yeah, you gonna
Exactly. The balance, you understand the pocket, you can tell when you need to take something away. Like, it just gives you a better sense of space with the record.
Yeah,
Nah, that's super dope.
Exactly.
Let's see. Recording FL is cumbersome.
I do agree, because when I seen it, I was kind of like, bro, what is you doing?
I was talking to Realistic about that yesterday, and he's the recording king. He kind of had the same sentiment, so I'm like, damn. All right.
And the crazy part about FL is if you don't set them folders up right, bro, you're gonna lose all your shit.
Oh, bro. I just went through it. And it's weird on Mac a little
Especially
bit.
when recording in audio, if you don't set them folders designated to the right places,
You're gonna be done.
you're gonna be done.
Yeah.
It's too many folder allocations with FL. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like producing in FL, but what I don't like is like, and this may just be ill knowledge on my behalf. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking any FL users because I got some great friends that's producing some great records using FL. I just particularly don't like the format of how those folders be set up, and if you don't have the folders set up in the playlist, it don't pull up your sounds, and your beat be missing sound.
No, that's real.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah, no, that's real.
I need for everything to be
Right there.
That's the one thing I will say, because I've been using FL.
Ableton bad about it too now. Move one of them folders out of your Ableton spot. There's allocated to if you don't collect all and save, and you done.
Yeah, that's real.
Now let me ask you this, because I know in Ableton, just being an Ableton head, you could go to the joint and just click search. Now it's FL like that.
But I feel like, yeah, now that I've learned more about it,
Okay.
if you put your folders back in the same Now you don't even have to be in the same order, but if you add them back into the file management,
Okay.
it'll find the sound.
Okay. All right.
You
That's
see what I'm saying? So nothing is lost. I just think the allocation aspect of all these softwares need to be worked on actually.
I will
But
say,
that's just me.
Yeah.
I feel like with Ableton, it gives you more of a guarantee because I don't know if my FL isn't. I don't have it set up properly, but I've had stuff crash and it's just a wrap.
Yeah.
It just act like. Well, at least with Ableton, it's gonna be like.
Well, but see, with Ableton also you gotta be careful of duplicate files. Black.
Oh,
yeah.
Bruh.
Oh yeah, that's real.
You gotta be.
Files
If you got duplicate files in there, bro, it won't find them files
Yeah,
right.
or it'll find them. It'll find 8 of them Jones though. When you do the search, you gotta pick one, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I gotta pick one.
Everything has its, you know what I'm saying, its kinks and its little,
Word.
setbacks, but it's about you developing that understanding for that software and getting around it.
How
You know
many
what I'm
kick
saying?
28 you got?
Exactly.
Damn, kick 28.
SN9.
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you. Because I'm really big on, I'm big on templates. I'm big on using templates. So, do you use a template? And if so, what is in a Tech Beats template?
I do use a template. And you know what I'm saying? What's in my template is, you know what I'm saying, like drum racks that I like. You know what I'm saying? That I got my go-to drums in them, already ready to go. Of course, I like sub and bass sounds and stuff, so I gotta have my 808s and stuff already in there, just lined up.
All right.
And then full of effects. I think, you know what I'm saying, because I treat my audio like, even if I get a loop, I treat it like it's an instrument. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just using a straight loop.
Facts.
Ever.
I seen what you did to my stuff. My man called me on the phone. Hey man, just killing it.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Style,
And I feel like
Right.
in the climate that we in these days, some people have gotten lazy and just using the loops, and there's nothing that's wrong with using loops, but what's gonna happen when somebody else has that same loop?
That's the thing.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the
You gotta do
thing.
something different to your loop.
That is the thing.
You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Your average drum rack. How many drums in your average drum rack?
I think in my average drum rack, I probably, you know what's crazy? Is to answer that question, I've been like diminishing down to like one kick.
Okay. So you a 16? You a 16 dude? Or
Not just 116. You know what I'm saying? I got my kicks and snares and I got my hi hats. So I build quadrants in my drum rack now because I use push too. So I build stuff in quadrants. Like I might build a quadrant of 16 kicks, 16 snares, hi hats. You know what I'm saying? Some open hats. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the basic to a set. You know what I'm saying? And then I have another quadrant with percussion loops or whatever. But it's just it just depends. And sometimes I won't even use my racks at all. I just go straight arrangement view.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just depends on how I'm feeling at the moment, you know? So, you know, in my template though, my drum racks are there, my effects are there, my master bus is there. You know what I'm saying? I got my go-to things that just allow me to get to the creation of the music faster because I work with a lot of songwriters.
right.
We don't got a lot of time to be sitting around looking for a whole bunch of sounds.
That's right.
So I split my processes up into things that don't happen in front of the actual artist or writer.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Okay, I got this kit I can load up. I sat there for 2 hours the other day and picked my best kicks and snares or whatever and curated. I curate my sounds.
There you go. I think that process, it makes you more efficient, and
Yeah.
then it makes you look like Superman in the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like that's funny that you even mentioned that because aside to making templates, if anybody in here has ever had a consultation with me, I always say get your best stuff, put them in folders, put them in racks,
Know where
or
it's
whatever
at
you-
all times.
Because when you in there, when you in that session, and that thing, you gotta know
it's
where to
on
go.
the one, bro. And then if y'all using Ableton 10, use y'all places, man.
Oh,
Places is there
lit.
for a reason.
Right.
You
Super fast.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just do them smart. You only get a certain amount of places, so just lay them out smart.
Right.
Yeah, are you more of a if you had to pick a plugin to get, are you more of a I'm gonna get a synth or like that kind of plugin, or are you more of a effects guy?
Man, it's crazy because, you know, over these last few months, I've been getting my hardware game right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the folks at Rolling, you know what I'm saying? They've been rocking with me for a minute. So I just been kind of like collecting, you know, hardware pieces of gear, you know what I'm saying? Like actually analog equipment to like play stuff. And you know, it's crazy, even though I got the push, I still feel like I missed a certain type of thing with being able to connect with the keyboard, you know what I'm saying? So I got my System 8 now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still, I feel like we have so many effect plugins that we can achieve if you understand what a compressor is, if you understand what a reverb is, if you understand what saturation is, bit crushing and all that stuff, you can get to those.
Right.
But I'm just a fan of textures, and even with that being said, all of those add textures to the sound. So I'm either or, bro.
Yo.
Nice.
I'm going for either or.
Nice.
As of right now, though, the mode I'm in, I want the keyboards.
No, I'm not mad at that at all.
You know what I'm saying? I just been really diving into understanding what oscillators and LFOs are, and once you start unlocking the magic to oscillators and LFOs and filters, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, well now you know. Now you know sound design.
Right.
Now you can make whatever.
Anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's really the cheat. People are like, yo, how do you make these sounds? It's like, yo, I know what an LFO is. I know how to manipulate.
Exactly.
That's really a lot of what it is, and it's taste.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I always tell people if you use Ableton 2, you should have a strong macro game.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have a strong macro game. And I ain't gonna lie, low key judge people. When I see Ableton and they open it up, it's just like a whole big splay of plugins at the bottom. I'm like, ooh. I open my shit up, you used to see like just like 4 little boxes. It might be 100 plugins going on, but you're gonna see 4 little boxes.
Exactly.
With the 8
Everything mapped is in a certain area, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because with Ableton, that's another thing. Like, it allows you, the automation game in Ableton is next level, bro. Like, you can map anything that has a knob, pause inside of Ableton, you can map it.
There you go. Your macro should be on point. Your knob should be mapped to whatever. You should rarely have to go deep diving into your plugins.
Gary V the plugins.
Yeah,
Macro.
macro. Yeah, you gotta get that right though.
Let's see. Black Metaphor says, I love Ableton. It's a couple things I like about the way the machine workflow, especially the way it saves my favorites.
Oh yeah, machine is dope too. I can't even sit up here, especially that Mark III.
Mark 3, yeah.
The way you're able to browse through your libraries and stuff on that machine, bro, is
Visually it's nice.
it's kind of similar to the Complete Control. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, both of them right there.
You got both of them.
Yeah,
Right
Magic Johnson.
Magic.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah, I got a preset on there. It says Magic. What is it, Magic Pro?
Oh, Magic Pro. Instead of Logic Pro for some reason, it said Magic.
Magic Pro.
It's a Magic Johnson.
Magic. That's right.
Let's see, do you guys prefer to put your drum sounds all on one track or every sound separated on its own track?
Man, I don't care no more.
I don't. I'll usually have one drum rack that has all the drums. I'll put them all on the same track, and then I have something that will just explode the track.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm getting ready to go to mix, I'm splitting everything up. But if I'm sending stems, like most of the time I'm gonna do my processing and I'm gonna freeze out my plugins and stuff like that on my actual. I might keep my kick and snare together because there's a certain texture that goes on them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not too gung ho at splitting up sounds no more. It's that, especially if I'm the end of the record. Now when I get ready to go to mix, I'm splitting it up.
Right.
And of course, inside of my drum rack, I'm putting effects on my kick, my snare.
Inside the
rack,
what
you know what I'm saying? When I get ready to mix, you know what I'm saying? If I really feel like it's something that needs more detailing than the other, I'll split everything up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like the way I was brought up through the music industry is when you get ready to start doing them 8 outs, because I had an MP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got a chance to experience the MP when I was coming up, and knowing that when we went to the studio and you was getting ready to mix that record, we sending these 8 outs through the SSL.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now everything's pretty much in the box.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if I have the opportunity to sit here and throw ozone, nectar, or whatever on whatever, I'm EQing and I got settings in there for those particular elements, whether it's kick, snare, hi-hat, whatever. I'm going through it that way. And if I need to mix it my way first and then send it to the engineer, I'm doing that.
There you go.
And sometimes you got to be careful, man, because these engineers will fuck your stems
Oh
up.
man.
Yeah.
We was just talking about that.
Yeah,
They'll fuck
exactly.
them up.
Yeah.
And it won't even be their fault. You know what I'm saying? They just doing their job. You know what I'm saying?
They don't understand the direction you trying to go.
You gotta think when you send your shit off to mix to somebody, they're just using their ear to mix your record.
Exactly.
So what makes their ear that much better than your ear? If you've heard it, if you heard a record a certain way and it feels a certain way when you produce and record a record, it should feel that same way when you get it back from the engineer.
I was saying I often send my
If not better.
2-track. Yeah, like here's the 2-track. This is
Send that
the
reference.
character. Yeah, this is the character I'm trying to preserve. Because you could be, as an engineer, they could be doing technically the right thing, but they're more of a rock genre type ear or something like that. Like they just not in that rock. So they doing everything right.
The right way.
For what
You done
they
did
want
something
to
the
do.
wrong way, and it sounds a certain way because you did it wrong.
Exactly.
But that's what's making the record feel like
Exactly.
There you go.
Like a lot of trap stuff is technically people like, especially from an engineer standpoint, they be like, "Oh, this is wrong.
Right.
The bass is too much."
I done put the J37 on an instrument that don't even supposed to be on.
There you go.
But it feels good.
Exactly.
It's vibing.
That's all that matters.
It's jamming.
There you go. And if you use Ableton too, I don't know if the person that asked if you keep your drums on the same track or separate them. I wouldn't worry about it too much, like Tech was saying. And then if you really want to separate them, you can just go to that drum in the chain, right click, and go extract chain. It'll put it on its own track with whatever effects are on it. I believe
It stay on there.
the only thing that it doesn't do that, what she did, is if it would match the volume of the track it came from. Because it always puts it on a new track, but the volume is always at zero.
The zero.
I wish it would clone the volume of the track it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going along with what we were just talking about, do you mix your own tracks?
For reference purposes, like if I'm working with writers and stuff like that, yeah, I do. But you know what I'm saying, typically if it's a record that's gonna be like placed and you know what I'm saying, distributed through a label or something, we're gonna find the dopest engineer to mix that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your mixes are pretty good too. I
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been hearing your mixes over the years.
I'm gonna send the reference, you know what I'm saying? If you can get it close to the reference, I'll be happy, you know.
So, are you a melody first person or a drums first person?
It just depends on how I feel at that particular time, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't like the way I've split my processes up over the years, since these last few years since I've been producing. It's kind of like weird because sometimes I'll sit and program drums and then sometimes I'll sit and create loops. So it's like, you know, when I'm working with writers, I feel like the most important thing is melody and music. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if I'm working with writers, I want to get the melody and the music to the front. Then I start adding my 808. That's the bass. And then I go for my drums. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I just come up with that one drum pattern because it's like goes back into what I said earlier. How you know what drums go with what until you figure out what type of record you're producing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm just making beats and I'm just sitting there vibing out, no holds barred. I'm doing whatever.
Right.
I might start with a melody, I might start with the drums, but if I'm actually working on a record, I'm a little bit more strategic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because the drums are almost determine the genre of the record.
Yeah,
Like,
once you go,
yeah.
you go. Like, I mean, you can always change and make different copies and different versions, but you know, I like to know like what is this? What is this that we're working on?
Facts.
So it just to answer the question, long story short, it just depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Right. So, okay.
Dope. I'm our Tech Beats. Tech Beats is not afraid of a break beat.
I'm not.
My man always got breaks on deck. I respect producers that always got break beats on deck. Some of the best joints we ever did in the studio was
We had some break beats in, but see, now it's like I'm in the mode of like, how did y'all make that sound like that?
Exactly. And
I'm
now
on that
make
type
your
of
own
now.
break
I'll make
beat.
my own break beat now. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fine.
Yeah, they tried to hit us in the head for a break. That
They
one
did,
time.
dog.
Yo,
They got y'all.
yo, we had a
Hey, let me
jam.
tell y'all, man, be real with these folks, man. Like, y'all got these drum break packs, bro. Please believe that the label has to clear that drum break.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if it is a drum break where you download it from wherever you downloaded it from.
They got cleared.
The 100 break beats pack that everybody loved to download.
Those are real break
with all the
beats.
old school drum breaks from all the old school records. Those are still treated as samples.
Yep. And
And they got cleared through the drummers and the musicians that worked on that record.
They used to back in the day. They would just let them go.
They let them go.
Or
not
people
now.
didn't have the knowledge. but then you gonna find a person like me or a person like Trizza came in playing
Oh yeah.
something today, and I'm like, oh, that's a chapter 13 break.
Right.
I was like, what? What are you talking about?
And the label doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
What they took from that record, like 46%.
They did. Oh, they tried to kill us. I think it was the Power of Zeus break that we tried to use.
Came got us. Like, we need all of that.
Man, did they ever? Whoa,
no, baby.
whoa, that break was slapping.
And didn't want it with the interpolation.
Nope, did not,
Really?
not. Yep.
You're not playing with them drum breaks. People be like, oh, we got the drum break back.
Yeah, that whole. All right, keeping it real. That whole song got reinterpolated.
It did.
It's nothing like the original we did though. The original was slapping.
Slapping.
By the time it got down to it, and everything had to be replayed and reinterpolated, it was not the slap. It was good. It was. If you never
It
heard the
still
original,
made the
it was
album,
great.
but, you know.
It did make the album, but that original, I still got that joint with the cuts.
Right.
Is that the same with break beats from sample packs, like the interpolated popular breaks?
No, not if they're original royalty-free breaks.
Right.
But what Tech is referring to is there are a lot of places where you could download like
Old school break beats.
Yeah, which are
Y'all know what I'm
actual
talking
breaks.
about.
Bro, you're gonna have your Impeach the Presidents on there. You're gonna get Power and
Yeah,
Zeus.
straight like that.
Yeah, you got it. All the classic breaks. Joe Farrell, Upon This Rock, was the first break. His daughter, his estate, started suing people for those breaks, and that's what led to the whole
Use them at
shit.
your own discretion and also chop them up.
Yes.
Put
And
the
layer
things
'em.
in the simpler and chop them up. Make your own break beats out of them, bro.
Facts.
Period.
Layer them. Trying to tell you. And don't sample it from other people's songs either.
Oh yeah.
If
That's
you can
dead.
find the original, find the original. But the thing is with the original, the sonics aren't gonna be like hidden, so you gotta learn how to layer. That's a little gem right
With the
there.
new school pack, like Splice and all that stuff like that, whatever.
Yeah. There's people in there pulling the jug on Splice though.
Yeah, oh man, I downloaded the pack off Splice the other day, and they tried it so hard. I was like, y'all think y'all slick?
Uh-huh.
I can't even remember. They replayed a song in the pack
Oh,
Bro,
yeah.
that we was still gonna have to clear.
Oh, yeah.
They be jugging
Like
on
y'all
there.
not slick.
Yeah.
Should I download some sound oracles?
Yo, yeah. See my shit on Splice. Like, hey. Yeah,
I
that's
know
me.
that, Lou.
Yeah. Like that's my
So
actual
just
loop.
be careful, man. Just and like I said, even if you are, I'm not gonna knock the loop-based producer. You know what I'm saying? Because we're in a new age. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like when I was coming up in high school, it was like you digging through these records. Now it's like you digging through these sites trying to
Yeah,
find
right.
a loop
People
that
making-
nobody used.
It's like people making the records and making the samples for you
Yeah,
to do it.
so even with that, take them loops and do what you do to them, man. You know what I'm saying? Create a vibe out of those. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah, it's take them and flip them to your own delight. Because like you said, somebody else can have the same loop. But if you
Yeah.
got a process or you got something different that can make it your shit, I mean, you just in a better place and you have less to worry about. Just treat them as somebody gave you the dopest palette for you to now do what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, I gotta take a nature break, my
Good
bad.
nature. All right, cool. This is the part where we nerd out.
Please.
Let me figure out what we're gonna nerd out about. Okay. If you can reveal, what is some of your favorite Max for Live devices? If you can remember, because there's a lot of them
I ain't even gonna lie, bro.
joints.
Like I had to open up my laptop and just go down the
Them
list.
joints is tough.
It's a lot of stuff, man. And I think my experience with the Max for Lives packs be from the actual packs you download from Ableton.
Mm-hmm.
Like probability and all this. Like it's like I had to open up my laptop. It's like if y'all got Ableton, pay attention to y'all packs menu. Go download them packs, man.
A lot of
The
them.
crazy part about it is they free. They come with your suite. If you got a suite and you bought it,
Yeah.
if you ain't buy it, then you might be in trouble.
Yeah. People don't realize that Ableton comes with those free packs.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to click on the thing. You don't even have to go to a website. You just
No,
click
you
on them in your
download
browser.
from the actual Ableton browser.
Yeah. The first one, probability is great. Get Beat Tools.
Beat tools.
I got stuff in there.
Yeah.
The what's the macro joint in there? The master whatever macro.
Master
That's the joint I
Blaster?
made. It's master controller something. It was like my main master macro I would put on everything, the
Okay.
EQ and compress and all
Right.
that stuff with just one knob. That's in there. I got an 808 that
That
Tristan-
808 y'all made in that Beat Tools is crazy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if you
That's
got
a go-to.
yeah, if you got Ableton,
Tricky
man,
traps, like it's like
Ooh.
a whole bunch of packs.
Tricky
They got,
traps,
bro. They got a whole bunch of packs in Ableton, bro. You just gotta download everything and experiment because the thing is, like, you gotta think Ableton, like, and I'm giving y'all this piece of information from knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, like they're constantly trying to update the sound content, and it's a lot of sounds in them packs that y'all sleep on. I'm just gonna tell y'all that right now.
What?
And the plugins and the chains are in those packs. So you know.
That's
It's a
true.
free game, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to snitch or give away the secrets, but it's right in front of your face.
And not only that, the Ableton plugins, which are some of the best plugins available, they in them packs, and you get to see how other people are using them plugins.
Right.
And also, you get macros inside
Inside
of
of
those. You can take. You don't even have to use the sounds. You can just take the effects macros
Exactly.
and use them on other
The
things.
chains are right there in front of us.
Bruh.
The whole time.
Full of Ableton is full of gems. Every YouTube still. Ableton is full of
You down?
gems. YouTube we still up on YouTube.
Okay. Word.
Man, it's full of gems every single time. But we out of here on Instagram, YouTube. Man, it's been real. The show. This is the end of the show. This is the part where Tristan does his awkward. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, man, yo, go follow my brother Tech Beats TEC_BEATZ on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.
Let's go.